Hello, and welcome to another Dokkan battle video. Today we're going to be talking about the wish strips that you can obtain through the missions that are currently ongoing right now, as well as the Parunga choices. I don't think that you should ever pick these wish strips when it comes to the Parunga wishes, because there's just a lot better options in there. I'll go and talk about that in my next video. However, there is a lot of characters in this list that I feel like can still be pretty good. While the majority of this list is kind of old or has easied recently and have not made much of an impact, I still feel like there are a couple choice units that I have selected out of here that I feel like can be very, very useful to you guys in a multitude of events. So starting off with the Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku, I feel like although he is not very good defensively, even with a lot of orbs, I do feel like he has a very weird niche where he can heal a lot from AGL orbs. Pretty much can function as like a sensu bean without the like the ability removal. So he can still be kind of helpful every now and then as long as he doesn't get hit. Dispo I feel like is just ruined by lackluster EZA from a very long time ago. Even when he EZA'd originally, he never really felt very good then, and especially now that we have power crept past the 7th year anniversary, he has just fallen off almost completely alongside of his good friend God Topo down there. With Skinny Boo, though, I feel like he can actually be really, really good in a lot of shorter events. Stuff like Battlefield and Super Battle Road, he has his start of turn dodge for the first couple turns, as well as the stun on his super attack. I feel like as long as he is getting his dodges in, he can actually be really solid. Same goes for this AGL Caulifla. While she pretty much only relies on her dodge, if she gets hit whatsoever, I feel like she will just end up making you lose your run and sending you back to the main menu. Angel Cell is a unit that I feel does not do much of anything. Even when he came out, he never really did much of anything alongside the Tech Angel Frieza. These two kind of just did not get very good awakenings, and I'm kind of waiting for their EZAs to come out so that they may eventually have a place on like the Resurrected Warrior team, which kind of needs them, as well as the Otherworld Warriors category team. Now, this right here, this AGL 17 is a unit that I picked out specifically because I think they can actually be very, very good, provided they actually get a category that they can be ran on. Now, some of you may be thinking, oh, what about the Android team? Well, the Android team is led by AGL Cell, and if we take a look at AGL Cell's leader skill, he doesn't even actually lead the Androids team. He leads Android Cell Saga and Power Absorption, neither of which this guy and another unit that I'm going to talk about later are on. So they kind of are hurt by that, and I feel like they're the biggest units that are not on AGL Cell's 200% leader skill that would really benefit from it. Though this guy can have a really, really good defense post super attack, as well as even before he supers, and he also makes one of the weirder units in the game, LR Super 17, a lot better. Granted, you can just run AGL Super 17, and I feel like you would probably see a bit more like survivability with him than you would with the LR, sadly. And then we have Bra Pan, who I think her EZA and Awakening was way too early. That whole batch of Heroes units or Fusions units really didn't get the best EZAs. There's only like a handful of them that are even remotely useful whatsoever. And then we come to the GOAT, AGL Golden Frieza. I'm sure anyone that has ever played this game knows why this guy will forever be good. He doesn't do any damage. Never bring this guy if you're expecting him to become some damage monster. It's just this pure raw damage reduction when he's above 40% HP pretty much just makes him useful no matter where you put him on any team that he can actually fit on. Even teams that he doesn't fit on, he can still rather just be like a nice slap on in terms if you just want to tank a few hits, as long as you're above that 40% threshold. Now these last few AGL units I feel like are all kind of in the same boat. They've either all EZA'd or like they've all EZA'd already, and none of them really have a good fit anywhere. Like sure, some of them can be kind of useful because a couple of them, they like this guy stacks defense, this guy he gets more defense whenever he gets hit, as well as on his super attack effect if you keep it stacked up. But I feel like all of these guys, they just don't have high enough stats to really be useful in anything other than like a new legendary Vegeta event mission. This guy's just way too old to be ever used. He needs an EZA, especially when we talk about AGL Metal Cooler, who I feel like could be EZAing sometime next year, or maybe even this year. Tech 16 is just a unit that is pretty much just a major coin flip. He's either going to guard and be perfectly fine and win your event, or he won't and he'll just straight up die. This Kaioken Goku, he's okay. He stacks defense. He can be useful in long events. Bra is just not good anymore. She desperately is awaiting an EZA, which I feel like she could get with this year's Peppy Girl celebration. If she does, then maybe she can be useful in some weird category teams, maybe like the Vegeta family team. But other than that, I don't feel like she's much of anything to really talk about. We've already really talked about the Angel Frieza here. This original Galagun Vegeta, he's okay as a unit. Like he's like a moderately alright support unit. His defense is very, very low for nowadays standards. So like yeah, you could throw him on a team if you're just going through like Dokkan events or something with like the new LR. And then we come to these two guys. These two are units that I brought up specifically because I think they're actually insane. This Trunks, I'm sure a lot of people have said before, but I think he is even better than the Prime Battle LR, who shares the same name as him, because he is just overall very, very good. He has this attack and defense for 6 turns that he can build up. He has tons of attack and defense just from his actual passive stats. And overall, I feel like this guy is very, very solid. And a lot of people don't really like to talk about him that much. Like, he only got his EZA in November, and he's still very solid. And even if you're in like something like Super Battle, he can still have guard against 2 or more enemies, and that is not something to be slept on. And then we come to my favorite unit on this entire list, Janembu. I would say that if you're gonna pick any unit with these wish strips, it should be Janembu. I feel like the only reason that you wouldn't pick this guy with these wish strips is if you already have him rainbowed. If you do not have this unit or have him rainbowed, this is like the must grab. He does way too much with his defensive stacking, lowering attack on whenever he attacks something, recovering HP, all this stuff, dodging, guarding. All he needs to do is dodge one attack for him to become a literal defensive monster. And even in events where he can't dodge, he still can stack that attack up while also lowering enemies' attack by a whopping 33%. This guy is just actually insane. And then this list of wish strip units immediately falls directly off a cliff with 6 units in a row who I feel like are just actual fodder that you would never run in any circumstance ever. Like, yeah, Karoli, he's cool, I guess, but he doesn't do anything special. He doesn't have amazing stats. He doesn't put up like any really crazy attack stats. He doesn't do much of anything other than being a lackluster stat unit. Toa, she's like okay, she can support, she can attack and defense, like no down, it's all right. These like 4 right here, all fall into the same boat of just okay EZAs that you can only really run if you're forced to, or if you're lacking in category options. I would say you run these guys. Bodo Magetta is just outdated garbage at this point. Ribrianne, I feel like, is only good in the Peppy Girls category Super Battle Road stages, and even then you can just run a team that is just carried by Videl, because Ribrianne, all she's really good for nowadays is that attack debuff from her passive with more Peppy Gals allies. Zamasu, I feel like he's going to be coming up on an EZA eventually, now that we know that STR Rose and Tech Vegito Blue are EZAing. This guy and then this Trunks right here, they awakened from those Dokkan event medals. So I feel like these two could be coming up on an EZA, and they both have very high damage reductions at the start of turn. And so if they get an EZA, they could probably be very solid. I don't think picking them up now is kind of worth it. I would rather say get a unit who's good now than a unit who could be potentially good later. Let's see. Saliza is a wonky fusions unit that I don't think is very good in my opinion. I've used him a couple times and I don't really enjoy whenever I have to use him. I feel like his links are weird, his kit is weird, and all around is just a funky unit that doesn't really mesh well with many others. And then we come to the other Hellfighter 17, who I think is another unit that, again, once this guy gets a proper android's leader skill, he is going to be insane. This guy's defense post super attack can already hit ranges of up to the upper levels of 300,000 defense, while also putting up some pretty sizable attack stat numbers. Like if this guy double supers, he's not taking damage from even Red Zone Omega's normal attacks. He's very, very good, and all he needs is that android leader skill to be just absolutely insane. And let's see here, we got Pandel, who is just she could have been so much better because she is a fusion, like one of the only fusion support units, but like she just doesn't have the stats needed to fit on the team very well. Same thing goes for like this Vegito. He also is not very strong in any which way. There is lightning outside, so you're gonna have to excuse that. In Demigra, his awakening along with where is he? The physical mirror and the tech toe. I don't think any of them got really good awakenings. I feel like out of all of them, physical mirror is like the best one, maybe because he just stacks defense, but even then he stacks it very, very slowly. In Metal Cooler is just way too outdated nowadays. He easy like what, like 4 years ago now or something like that. He's just not worth a slot on your team anymore. This guy actually is kind of solid. He's very underrated for being just a base form Vegeta unit. He can be good in some circumstances, but like it's really difficult to kind of actually make him fit onto a team because of his links. In Golden Frieza, I feel like there's really no reason to run him over any other Golden Frieza that is currently in the game. Like, yeah, he is a stacker, but like he's also a support unit for a category that doesn't really have a good spot right now in the current meta. Int Cell is just outdated. I feel like I've only ever used this guy when it comes to Extreme Z areas and pretty much nothing else. Trollhan here, I don't think he was literally ever good. Even his EZA when he came out was like kind of mediocre. Wow, that is some aggressive lightning. S tier Demon King Piccolo, he is awaiting an EZA right now, so I highly recommend not picking up him. Same with this Piccolo, as well as there should be a Goku on here. Oh, did they not put? That is weird. Anyway, the STR 21 is like my favorite unit, or just in general. She's one of my favorite characters in Dragon Ball, and I feel like her EZA is a little underrated, though I still don't recommend actually picking her up because she, again, doesn't really have a very good spot. Because yeah, she links like okay with AGL Cell, but I still feel like there's a lot better options for the Android team than running my girl 21 here. This Kid Goku desperately needs an EZA, same with this Frieza. STR Majin Vegeta falls in the same kind of lane as the AGL Super Saiyan 2 Angel Goku, where if they can get their orbs, they can heal a decent amount, but that's pretty much it. Again, this guy, he has high damage reduction at the start of turn, so once he gets an EZA, he'll actually be very, very good. This, the Rage Vegeta and Bulma card is one of those units that I feel like never really got the chance to actually be good, mainly because of the fact that this card has Bulma in the name, and because of that is not on a ton of categories that they really should be on, like Super Saiyan 2 and a lot of the pure Saiyan categories, the Vegeta categories for the most part. This unit is just not on purely because Bulma's name is on the card, and I feel like that just really hinders this unit. God Topo, we've talked about how he's kind of just aged. His damage reduction is okay, but he literally cannot take a hit unless he has it. This Pan is actually very, very good, especially on the 200% leader skill that she has with the LR Super Saiyan 4s. She can be kind of solid on that team. She has a very, very niche use though. So if you have this unit and you like using her, then I would say go ahead and pick her up. But I don't think she's better than something like Jinimbu or AGL Golden Frieza. This Zamasu is just too old to use, not anything special. He ECA'd with this Tech Trunks, but this Tech Trunks just blows this guy out of the water. Barlot and Cooliza, their EZAs were very, very lackluster, and I don't consider either of them to be that good. STR Majin Buu. He is very wonky. I see some people still use him on their world tournament teams, but I just feel like if you're gonna play world tournament and grind it out, you should really just run full LRs. This Gotenks is okay for super battle road stages that you can use him in. There's a lot better options like the AGLs, Gotenks and Ghosts you can use instead of this guy. This is another unit actually that I did pull up that I wanted to talk about because he is a very unique named character, and specifically for the Super Saiyan 2 category team, if we look at this closely, he is the only Trunks that's really on here purely because they shafted future Trunks off of this team when it comes to stuff like his Rage form. And since that he is the only Super Saiyan 2 Trunks in the game, that means he's the only Trunks on the Super Saiyan 2 category team that can activate this guy's passive. And if you're running the Super Saiyan 2 category like Super Battle Road stage, I would say bringing this Trunks is pretty much just mandatory if you're going to want Majin Vegeta to be at full power. Plus, he's also a very decent support unit, while also having rather high defensive stats once he gets his attack and defense stacked up. Moving on, this guy's just too old. Majub is a meme. He's like okay at best. I highly recommend not picking him up. This Vegeta is like okay, he can be useful in some scenarios, but I don't think he's gonna be ever like top tier. These three units are all just easy A's that never really got a chance to get off the ground. This Goku, he I think with an easy A could be actually pretty good. We're still just waiting for that entire batch of like Namek Saga units to finally be good at some point. And I feel like this guy will eventually be that when he does get his easy A. This Vegeta, he's useful if you're fighting a Goku long event. So if they ever release new missions for like the legendary GT Goku event that this guy can be used on, he could be a okay option. And we come to the final unit that I wanted to talk about here, Super Saiyan 2 Kefla. She is a unit that is very, very, very good, provided you get her the orbs that she needs to have decent defense. Because once she starts getting a bunch of orbs and stacks up her defense, she becomes pretty solid. I have used this unit to beat Red Zone Omega multiple times, so she is capable of helping out in the hardest content in the game, though I feel like you really want her to have type advantage as well as feeding her a bunch of physical type orbs and letting her get those defensive stacks. And once she does, she can become very, very helpful. Weirus is pretty alright, just a decent support unit, nothing crazy. This Kale, the Berserk Kale, has let me down more times than I'd like to admit. Recently, in the Universe 6 Extreme Super Battle Road stage, this unit cannot tank. I tried running her in there, it just did not work whatsoever. It was really upsetting. And Bergamo, old, needs an easy A. This guy could use an easy A. All of these units, they are either they have easy A and they are just not good, or outdated, or need an easy A desperately. This guy, he's old, he easy A'd a very long time ago, he's not that useful anymore. Sin Shenron is only really good for that GT bosses mission in the GT Goku event. Chowman is a meme character. I have actually beaten Red Zone Omega with Chowman on my team. However, I don't feel like that's something to really brag about, as he didn't really contribute all that much aside from getting like some fusions from the 3-year LRs. Mira, we've talked about his issues. He actually, I think the main issue with Mira for me is he doesn't stack fast enough to be able to keep him from transforming, and once he transforms, he loses the ability to stack in the first place. So you end up having a unit who is just dragging the team down because he doesn't link well with literally anybody. Seal Tanks is just old. This guy actually is a very decent support unit. You can run him every now and then. I feel like that'd be okay. This Goku, same thing. He easy A'd, it was alright. Doesn't really change much. This Fat Boo is another unit that did easy A, and he can be useful every now and then when you don't have that many options for stuff like the Majin Power category teams. And then this Vegeta got horribly shafted with his easy A. And that's everything here. Nothing is all that crazy besides from the units that I have pointed out. If this video interested you, please let me know in the comments. Let me know what you guys think that they could actually do to fix this. I personally believe that they should make this more recent. These units are way too old to be purchase for free. You have to give us stuff that we have actually like could use. Stuff like I think a good way to go about this is to go up until about the end of the last calendar year, so that way we can actually have units like Heart Virus Goku, third form Frieza, STR second form Cell, stuff like that that would actually make this worth like actually using. Because I think the biggest improvements from this is stuff like the fusions units like Janembu that are on here and AGL going to Frieza. Everything else is just very, very mediocre and not really worth your time. But if you did enjoy this video, please let me know down in the comments below. And that has been it. See ya.